Hello. Not sure if this works or not. First time I ever did that. Video. What's that? Live. Okay. Share. I guess I'm on, right? Oh, geez, my friend. Oh, my hair. Yeah, please forgive me of the background noise. Believe me, I hear it day and night. Next, I think I'll grow this out. I used to be a biker dude until I figured out that I have a congestive heart failure and I have seizures, so whatever. My peach don't look too good. Not really. I gotta just keep my faith in God because being on a nursing home, most of your rights are violated. You can't drink, you can't smoke, you can't do a whole lot of things. You can't just go outside and walk around. It's kind of the suckiest place in the world to be, I suppose. You know, I resisted the being put in here, but you got to be careful who you make your power of attorney over your medical issues, because that could go terribly wrong, like it did for me. Unfortunately, I made my stepsister, who I thought she loved me, and I know I loved her, else I wouldn't give her that position to choose decisions for me when I had medical issues. Really didn't understand what that actually meant, but I do now. I for sure do. I'm not sure if this is working anyway, but I don't have anybody to talk to be honest.
Is it your shower day? Okay, I was making sure I didn't do your tummy too. We already found out you take the shower.
Today's my
Thank you.
shower day. And they may be knocking at my door. I gotta ride a wheelchair around because I can't walk to the bathroom hardly without stumbling and possibly falling, hurting myself. When I do, they get upset at me. You know, what can I say? They get upset at me because they have extra paperwork. So they won't get in trouble. You know, they would have to ask, why was he alone? Why wasn't you looking after him? Knowing that he had a risk of falling. But most of the time, I don't see them. I stay in my room. I got my computer. I try my best to fulfill my time. I'm on hospice, and I'm just waiting for my next hit of morphine or other drugs. Waiting on my nurse from hospice to come to possibly up my meds. Um, Life in a nursing home really sucks in a bad way, and the food tastes crappy. You basically get the same food all the time. There's not much wavering from it. Plus, being on the inside, you can tell that they're having management problems here. I'm not going to say which nursing home. I don't want it to go any worse than it can be by me putting out a live video podcast. I'm afraid living without purpose. I don't reflect myself as someone angry at life or, um, woe is me type person. I sit and I draw people pictures, and oh, that's a hit. I tell people about Jesus and everything. I don't go in too much into my own life, my own feelings, but I do have a smile for everyone. That's for sure. I've gone basically from a shitty life, from a good life to a shitty life to a life out of control, and finally a life with no meaning whatsoever but lay in bed and watch my computers, even stop going to church. Basically in bed for 2 years. March 2 years ago, um, I was told I had about 6 months to live. Well, it was 2 years afterwards. But now I'm starting to feel it in the worst ways. My body's always hurting, and seizures, and falling. This morning I fell out of bed. I got an emergency light button, but you press it, you may not see nobody for an hour or two, knowing that your light is lit up down the hallways where the nurses could see, everybody could see. But there's no immediate help. I suppose I don't know, but if I needed help in the bathroom, who knows if I'd get it or not. They had alarms on my bed because of being a fall risk and all, plus falling out of bed. But it was such a pain in the ass. I'm not a dumb person. Well, I have been in my life. But I'm intelligent enough to know how to disengage, an alarm system. I was in the Army, my God, in electronics too. One of the good things that's come out of my life is I get to see my ex-wife again. And I hadn't really saw her for 4 months, 4 years. I moved in with my mother, and she needed my help. I was her power of attorney over her medical issues. Well, basically over everything. I never had her committed to anything. She started having strokes and things like that. My aunt from Florida, she had told me that I needed to call hospice. They got in, and they actually were a big help. I always was afraid of them. They're the death people, you know. But now I come to realize that they kind of take the sting away from your situation. When you're in pain, they'll give you pain meds. Uh, it wasn't exactly what I thought it was. But now I'm sitting here today. It's about 11 o'clock. Still waiting for my shower. I can't just go and take a shower anyway. But this is a very sad place to be in. There's a lot of sad people, you know, grandma and grandpas. I think I'm like the youngest person here. But my goal every day is in the morning to get my coffee and say, "Good morning, ladies." You know, be your kind of young stud and flirty guy. But just enough to make them feel good. You know what I'm saying? Nothing sexually attributed or anything like that. Just saying, "Hey, I remember you from yesterday," even if they may have already forget who am I. But it kind of gives them a sense of belonging to something bigger than they are, and what their things may be. That's another sad part. That's another sad part about being in a nursing home. People get, I see the same thing day after day after day after day. Sometimes I even forget what day it is. I don't sleep well at night. I'm always up. Always up. I'm running out of Gunsmoke to watch. They got crappy fake TV. You know, don't turn on your TV, they're lying to you. So I'm kind of like a conspiracy type person. So I turn on my YouTube and I listen to, you know, the Wendy Bell radio station. And we know uh, podcasts, as well as Alex Jones. He gets under my collar sometimes. I think maybe he may be losing it in a way, but in a comical way. Like, oh my God, Alex, chill. But we got a lot going on in the world, and here I'm stuck here, and I'm thinking, what can I do? I mean,